The Urban Dictionary defines a glitch in a matrix taken from the movie with the same name as a human experiencing deja vu caused by the machines altering said matrix, and that it's also an explanation for an unlikely or irregular occurrence. Perhaps you have experienced your own glitch, an incident that defies all logical reasoning, but nonetheless has happened, and you just can't explain how or why. This is exactly what these people went through, so they decided to share their own creepy, true glitch in the matrix stories. When I was around 20 a few years ago, I kept having dreams about a woman with long black hair named Aurora. They were different dreams, but for some reason her distinct face and name always ended up in them. It got to the point where I would wake up frustrated and confused, trying to Google her name and find out how I was connected to her. After a few months she stopped showing up, and I dismissed it, thinking that my brain was just being a scumbag. Fast forward a few years later, it's Halloween 2009. I'm in the car with a friend stopped at a gas station. I'm about to pull out and merge onto a highway when I get a phone call from a random number. So I stopped the car, but no one answered. There was a person behind me who grew impatient, honked at me, and then swerved in front of me instead of waiting for 2 seconds for me to move. The second that they got on the highway, a silver Honda Civic loses control of their wheel and crashes into the car that swerved in front of me. I called the cops and waited at the gas station for them to come. It turns out that the drivers of both cars had died. It 100% would have been me if I hadn't have got that phone call. I called it back a few hours later out of gratitude and curiosity. It rang 3 times and went to voicemail. "Hi, you've reached Aurora. Please leave your name and number." I've never had goosebumps like that in my life. I called it again the next day because I was that confused about the whole situation. Some woman answers, we get to talking. I tell her my entire story, including the dreams that I had. She tells me she doesn't know how I got her number and that she never called me as far as she remembers, which was weird. I asked her if she has a Facebook profile to confirm if she is in fact the woman in my dreams. I check her Facebook. Holy fuck, it's her. If that's not a glitch in the matrix, then I'm just batshit crazy. My dad had this little toy monkey that he used to call his favourite child and tease me and my siblings with it. Not in a bad way, but it was really frustrating to us and we spent hours trying to steal it from him. Well, anyways, one day we finally got it and threw it in the garbage after drawing on it and mangling it for a bit. We all laughed and searched for it for a bit, but basically figured that we had thrown it out and gave up after a week or so. A few years later, when I was 17, I'm walking down the street in Toronto. I don't live there, but I was just visiting friends, and I see this little orange object on the side of the road. When I walk over to it, I pick it up and see that it was the exact same monkey. It even had the black Sharpie lines on it from when we drew all over it. I honestly cannot even come up with the chances of that happening, especially considering our garbage is sent to a local dump and is nowhere near Toronto. I actually took it with me and I killed it with fire, just so I knew that it wouldn't come back again. I had an Android phone which had a Google Cards feature option that could notify you like 15 minutes to home if you were out. I thought this feature was annoying and useless, so I kept the feature off. After several months of no cards notifications, one night I'm at home and a card pops up saying 35 minutes to home, pinning me at a random intersection on the other side of town. Let's call it First Street and Story. I think that's weird. I'm not even way over there. I don't even know where that is. I've never been to that area. I go to my card setting to turn it back off, but it's already turned off. That's weird. The next night, the exact same thing happens. 35 minutes to home from First Street and Story. What the? Still, definitely not over there. I check the cards feature and the notifications are still turned off, so I have no idea why I'm getting a notification. A few days later, a friend and I are out running errands and he misses his intended exit, so he takes the next one. Once we're on the streets, I ask, where are we? I've never been over here. Suddenly, a car to our right tries to turn left and crashes right into us, which messed up the wheel to be unable to turn, so he pulled forward to the curb to call a tow truck. We had our kids in the car, so I call my sister to pick us all up. When my sister asks me for the location, I look up at the street signs, First Street and Story. I've written about this before. It's one of the weirdest things I've experienced. When me and my now ex-boyfriend had just gotten together, I went out and bought him some new shirts. We had just fallen in love and I saw a shirt that said Love Life on it in big red bold letters. The shirt was all white with only the words on the front. It was a little inside joke between us, I guess because we would use that phrase to describe our life and named our business Love Life. He really loved it and wore it a lot before it sat in the closet for a couple of years. Well, a couple of years go by and let's just say that Love Life was a horrible definition of our relationship. He was horrible. Anyways, I'm cleaning out the closets, getting rid of old clothes, and there's the shirt. I pull it out and the shirt now reads Low Life, the exact same way that it looked before, but it says Low Life. I immediately ask him if he remembers the shirt and what it said, and he tells me Love Life. Well, as soon as I show him the shirt, he flips out the same way that I did. Both of us know that the shirt never said Low Life. Why would I buy anyone a shirt that said that, let alone for my boyfriend? It's like I flipped dimensions into the reality where my ex-boyfriend was a complete abusive douche and it showed up in the shirt. When I visited my hometown after 15 years, I went directly to my childhood friend's home. It was locked. I thought he was out or something, but as soon as I turned, he was standing right behind me. We hugged. Bro time ensued. He asked me to come inside after he unlocked the door. His house was spooky. Things were broken, furniture was covered and dusty. I said, what's up with this shit? He told me he didn't have time for it as he was always busy. I didn't care really. I just wanted to catch up on all the shit from our childhood. We talked about everything from childhood to adulthood. After a few hours, I told him I'd be going to my cousin's home to stay the night. He insisted that I stay the night there, but I didn't really want to spend the night in the house as it was too spooky. So he told me to come back here tomorrow, and I said that I definitely will, and then I bid him goodbye. I went to my cousin's house. They're a lovely couple with 2 kids. At dinner, I told them about my friend and his house. They looked at me with terror and disbelief. My cousin said something like, "Don't fuck with us," and I was surprised as to why he would say that. They told me that the friend had died in a car accident 10 years ago. His parents and family had moved somewhere else, and the house had been locked since. I have no idea what the fuck happened. I was shitting bricks. To this day, I don't know if it was a dream or reality, but still, I'm just glad that my friend or ghost or my imagination caught up with me. Every once in a while, I have dreams about places or people I've never seen. Then about 6 or 7 months later, I'm in the place or with the people, and then I have deja vu. I also sing random songs even when something else is playing on the radio. Then the next song that plays is what I was singing. I've done this on mine and my best friend's and my girlfriend's iPods on shuffle many times, and it freaks them the fuck out every time. One super weird thing though happened in about 2012-ish. I was 19 and living at home with my parents and younger sister still. I came home from work from my job at a barbecue place, and my sister says to me, "Oh, I thought you said you were off today." I'm confused because I left at 5 AM before anyone was awake, and I ask her, "When did I say that?" She says to me like, 2 hours ago in your room. She thinks I'm screwing with her, so I tell her to smell me because you can smell the barbecue sauce and smoke on me. Then she gets really creeped out and tells me that she went into my room earlier and seen me in bed with the covers up to my neck and had a 15-minute conversation with me. That shit really creeped me out, and I never felt comfortable in that room ever again. My mum used to work during the day and leave me at home alone when I was around 12 or 13 and too old for daycare. She would ring the home phone periodically throughout the day to make sure that everything was alright. One day I'm home alone and the phone rings. I pick it up, it's mum, and we have a short, succinct conversation that's basically, everything going alright, yeah, okay, don't answer the door if anyone knocks, etc, etc. A very normal conversation. It ends, I hang up, and I go about my day. Not even 15 minutes later, the phone rings again. I pick it up and it's mum again. We exchange hellos and I jokingly say, "Must be a slow day, you literally just rang me." And mum goes very quiet for a minute and then says, "I haven't called you today." My blood went cold, and to this day I still don't know who called me. We came up with a secret password after that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope these stories creeped you out. I'd love to make a part 2 in this video, but this time I'd like to feature your own stories, so why not send me a message through YouTube or Facebook with your creepy glitch in the Matrix stories, and I'll be sure to credit you in part 2. Good luck getting to sleep tonight.